I was looking at manga that I read in the past, and I remember one that was kind of weird but had an interesting vibe. The manga I'm talking about is Imperfect Girl, which was released back in 2015 and is currently complete. Spanning across only 27 chapters, it's fairly short, so if you want to finish it within a day, you actually could. Well, depending on your reading speed and all that. By the way, some sources I've seen said this manga is based off of real events, which makes it kind of weirder, if you ask me. And you'll see why a little bit later. Just in case you want to know what you're getting into, let's go over the story a little bit. We start off with seeing the main character with his name being I. And from the jump, we're shown that he's a college student that had a thing for writing. Despite this though, he couldn't get anyone to accept his work. One day when he was riding on his bike, deep in thought that is, he ends up behind two girls. And this actually led to a change in his life, because literally seconds later, the girls that's in front of him end up getting smoked by a truck. Or so I thought, because it turns out only one girl survived, and the other one got hit. This leads I to seeing something weird, because when he looked back to the other girl, he sees that she wasn't even focused on her friend who just got hit by a truck. She was focused on saving her game first, then turning it off, before she actually decides to check on her friend. This ain't met the other most important person in the story, which that girl being that. The day passes and the main character I wakes up and decides to go out and about while riding his bike. Well, until someone throws something into his tires, causing the bike to flip and him landing on his ass. What they threw, by the way, was a quarter. Now at this point, he already know who it might be that did this, and this actually makes his anxiety get worse. It finally starts to go down after he makes it home, so he can start to relax. Or so he thought, because when he sits down, he feels something pressed on his leg, and when he looks down, it's you, the little girl from earlier, holding a knife at him. Now, me personally, if I was in this situation, I'd turn, run around, and run for the door. I know as soon as you turn your back, there's a good chance she probably stabs you, and you get shanked a few times, but it'll be fine. A few stabs won't be better than embarrassment. It's a little girl, it's not like she can overpower you, a whole grown man. By the way, if you're wondering how she got into the apartment in the first place, she snatched his keys and ID when she made him flip off the bike, confirming that she was the one who did it. She does tell him the reason though why she's here in the first place, and it's because he saw her put the game first instead of putting her friends first, the friend who was killed right in front of her. And now that he knows, she tells him to get walking, because she's planning to lock him up at her place, and with a knife to his back, all he can do is comply. Now there are people on the street when they are walking on the way back, and they see the both of them, but they don't see the knife that she's holding because she's standing so close to him. And if he do anything to let people know that she probably threatened him with a knife, I don't think people will really understand it, or at least that's his thought method behind it. And honestly, I can agree. Like imagine telling somebody you're getting kidnapped by a little girl. I'm pretty sure everybody just look at you crazy and laugh. But it's still kind of crazy if you actually think about it, because on the way there, he had so many chances to get away. That's right, a grown man in college ended up getting bitched by a little girl. That's basically how the story kicks off, or how the story ends up getting set in motion per se. Now I basically went over the first 4 chapters so it's easier for you to get into, because like I said, it's only 27 chapters long. I read 4, so there's only 23 chapters left. Plus, there's actually a reason you, the little girl, acts the way she does, which I think you should read the manga if you're interested in, because the manga is honestly actually pretty good, despite if it's real, based off real events or not. Especially the main character, despite me having a terrible first impression of him when I first started reading. His actions throughout most of the story was really good, showing how kind-hearted he really was. Because without spoiling too much, he ends up being a very important figure and used life turning around for the better. But this also makes him a better person in the long run of his life. So if you like wholesome manga, perhaps this one piqued your interest, or you just have time to waste so you admire reading this. But that's pretty much it.